In Minneapolis tonight, authorities say they are now searching for a man that they allege is seen in a viral video smashing windows and inciting violence after the death of George Floyd. They say he is a white supremacist who wanted to fuel racial unrest. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, authorities in Minneapolis say they have finally identified the man they claim incited days of violent protest there after George Floyd was killed. Dubbed the Umbrella Man on social media, he was captured in this viral video breaking windows at this AutoZone, dressed in black, holding an umbrella. In a court filing this week, police identifying him as a white supremacist. Brad Svensson recorded the May 27th incident.
It was strange because he was just casually walking through this warlike space.
According to court documents, the man also spray painted the words "free expletive for everyone zone" on the business's doors. Not long after, looting and fires began in the area, police say. An officer telling the court, until Umbrella Man, the protests had been relatively peaceful. This individual's sole aim was to incite violence. After a tip, investigators zeroing in on the 32-year-old, police say also a known member of a whites-only motorcycle gang. And David, investigators are working to obtain the man's cell phone location data. At this point, charges have not yet been filed.
This enchanted love of ours.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted love of ours. This enchanted love of ours.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
Over especially the last 2 years or so, we've been noticing food plants, factories, production facilities mysteriously burning up, coming under fire, so burning down because of fire, or some other strange circumstance that makes it so that it's no longer able to produce what it needs to produce. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over quite a few of these different scenarios. And then I'm going to get into some other aspects of what happened when I searched for just previous years of scenarios. Okay. So let's get, and of course, again, if you have any comments or questions, you're welcome to chime in and just cut me off if that's the case, that deal with this. But then after I get through with this, then I'm going to open the lines up for any type of comment or question you have, and we can just have a discussion like we do on our open lines. So, okay, as you see here, okay, so no immediate reports of injuries after North Vancouver lintel silo collapse. This happened, this was reported on September 11th, 2020. So one moment here. Okay, so that's September 11th, 2020. Okay, and so there were no immediate reports of injuries after a silo collapse at a grain facility on the North Shore waterfront. The District North Vancouver Fire Rescue Services confirmed Friday. Okay. The cause of this collapse remains unknown. And so you see pictures there as well. Okay. So let's go on to the next one here. This one, a grain elevator was destroyed by fire. This is October 15th, 2020. And this one here, this is the Kindersley fire. Okay, let's see here. A large grain elevator in the western Saskatchewan village of Marengo was destroyed by fire on the night of October 8th. Okay. Well, it was reported on the 15th, but it happened October 8th. But so let me change my date here because I'm writing this down for a reason here. All right, so the blaze was declared under control the following morning. A state of emergency was declared for the surrounding rural municipality of Milton, number 2292, which remained in effect until noon the following day. All right. So let's continue on. Fire destroys warehouse on San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. For subscribers only. Okay. So this is May 23rd, 2020. All right. So that's May 23rd, 2020. Okay. We can't read that article because it's for subscribers only of Bloomberg, but we can make out a little bit here. So a fire engulfed a warehouse on San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf early Saturday, sending a thick plume of smoke over the waterfront and threatening to spread to historic World War II era ships. Before the fire, that's all I can really read there. So let's continue on here. Hail fire. Firefighters battle massive fire tornado after blaze breaks out at food processing plant. Okay. You see the whirlwind of fire here. This happened, this took place at the Miskin America Tomato Processing Facility in Stockton, California. So that's where that happened at. All right. Approximately 1.5 acres of plastic pallets burned, and drivers were urged to steer clear of the fiery area. According to the Stockton Fire Department, the fire, which at first labeled as a 3-alarm fire, was fueled by crates filled with tomato products. It took nearly 6 hours for the firefighters to get the blaze under control. All right, so this was at least reported on May 27th, okay? So May 27th, we'll put that down. So May 27th. May 27th, 2020. Next one here. 280,000 chickens killed in California barn fire, owner says. Multiple firefighters responded to a large fire at a chicken barn near Ceres in this county here. Okay. So this was reported at least on April 24th, 2020. Okay, so April 24th, 2020. And so multiple firefighters responded to a large fire at a chicken barn near Ceres in Stanleys County. It's kind of interesting. Well, I'm going to put that. I'm going to write that down here. Okay, so let's see here. The fire happened at 3-story chicken house on Barnhart Road and was contained after a 4-hour firefight, according to the battalion chief with the Ceres Fire Department. All right. It was a tragic outcome for many involved. Christine Morrissey, executive director of Harvest Home Animal Sanctuary in Stockton, said she was hoping at least one animal's life could have been saved. It's unbelievable to know that so many animals, hundreds of thousands of animals, were trapped inside this building that's not that big, she said. And they were stuck inside as the flames ripped through this building. It's hard to imagine that amount of suffering. So that's that one there. Let's continue on. So this one's reported July 10th of 2020. And this says wildfires leave farmers suffering significant losses. Okay, so that's 7/10/2020. All right, here. So continue on here. Let's see here. Throughout the regions of California, damaged by the most severe wildfire season in recorded history, farmers and ranchers work to pick up the pieces, and crop insurance officials encourage farmers with insurance to contact their agents as soon as possible. In Sonoma County, even after suffering severe losses after the glass fire roared through the Recon Valley, farmer said he planned to bring fresh vegetables. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's continue on. So this one again was July 10th of 2020. Next one here. 3 injured in fire at Tremonton meat packing plant. Okay. 3 people suffered minor injuries Friday, and several homes were evacuated due to large fire at a meat packing plant. So this happened on October 2nd, 2020. So October 2nd, 2020, this happened. We are less than halfway through. Seems to be a whole lot, but maybe that's just me. It seems to be a lot. All right. So, and of course, many of us heard these things on the news and everything else over the past year or two. It's been like, let's see here. All right, I'm trying to, okay, there it is there. All right. So let me try that again. Okay, there it is. No, I don't want to subscribe. Oh. Okay, so they're not gonna let us see it. It looks like. So it looks like 400,000 something, but let's see here. No, I don't want to go to your home page. Oh. Okay, so we see it there though, and can't really see when. So this was reported, whatever this fire was that happened here was reported February 27th. So 400,000 chickens killed in Bloomfield, Nebraska poultry plant. Okay, so 400,000 chickens killed in Bloomfield, Nebraska poultry plant. And so this was reported February 27th of 2020. So February 27th of 2020. All right. Next one. So farmers say Royal Grain elevator explosion could slow harvest. This was posted on August 26th of 2020. So August 26th of 2020. So there remain unanswered questions. Oh, what was that? That's very strange. Okay, anyhow. So there remain unanswered questions about what caused a grain elevator explosion that rocked the community of Royal, Iowa. Tuesday's explosion at the AG Partners grain elevator forced community members to evacuate the area. Let's see here. He adds the main concern among farmers is the lack of grain storage. Again, it's still not clear what caused the explosion. Case closed. All right, let's move on here to the next one. All right, so again, that was August 26, 2020. All right, so the next one here is the Tyson Foods slaughterhouse fire ignites U.S. beef prices. Okay. See, all we're seeing here, we're seeing the inflation happen, right? And I spoke on many times here the different aspects of inflation, what can cause inflation, how can you see inflation and stuff like that. If you all need me to kind of rehash that, I will, just let me know. But we see it in the food prices, right? We see food prices rising and rising, and some people just didn't know why it's rising. Well, this is why. Okay. And so pretty much so humanity used to be much more independent than what it is. Yes, you may depend on your local community, but because everybody's dependent on their local community, with so many local communities that were producing for themselves. So even if one community is not able to produce as much for itself, there's still 100,000 communities around it that can, and it's no big deal. But which is by design here, when humanity is all dependent on these draconian storehouses, and if something, even if it's as they call an act of God, right, and it destroys these storehouses, then guess what? Everybody is going to have problems. Okay. But what if it's been targeted? Then it's a whole nother story there, right? So here's another one here. Tyson Foods slaughterhouse fire ignites U.S. beef prices. Okay. This is Chicago. Let's see here. All right. I'm hearing somebody sending messages to me or something. It keeps coming through my phone. Just bear with me one moment, you all. Very strange. Very strange. A lot of very strange things have been happening over the last 2 days. It's been somewhat hilarious, but only that I could do is all right, so let's continue on here. All right, so Chicago, margins for U.S. beef processors climbed to a record high on Friday as the closure of a Tyson Foods Incorporated slaughterhouse due to a damaging fire last week fueled concerns about a shortage of hamburger meat and steaks. Okay. The indefinite shutdown sent meat buyers for restaurants, food service companies, and grocery chains scrambling for beef, traders said, because the sprawling facility in Holcomb, Kansas, killed about 6,000 cattle a day. Okay. Or 5% of the total U.S. slaughter. Just think about the suffering there, right? Killing that many animals, a day. That has to bring some type of energetic. It has to be some type of energetic significance to that, just killing so many a day. At least in this aspect of when people consume it, the energy, you can say, is being transferred. But in this case, it's all right, just killing just literally tens of thousands of animals a day that were raised even in horrific conditions and stuff like that is something else. All right, so it gets into, of course, I'm going to post links to all these articles. Okay, just so you all see here, so you want to scramble and try to see the links and stuff like that. I'm going to post the links when this goes on YouTube after the show ends. Okay. So this one here, at least, was reported on August 16th of 2019. Okay. August 6th. Okay. That one I want to put to the side. I'm going to put that one back here because the ones that happened in 2019, I want to.
Now you won't let go.
All right, so August 26th. Yeah, we did this one already. Next one here. Fire destroys local food pantry, closes store. So this is not as major as the other ones, it seems. Okay, so St. Vincent de Paul in Temple can't serve the more than 1,000 clients it typically sees in a month. Oh, that's in a month. Okay. After fire destroys food pantry and warehouse Monday. This happened on October 13th, 2020. Okay, October 13th, 2020. Temple firefighters responded to the warehouse fire at around 3:15 a.m. Monday. Okay, so again, it's happening in the morning time. Let's see here, where else? So no one was injured, but all the food, refrigerators, freezers, and storage inside were destroyed. All right, there was a lot of stuff in there that was going to help a lot of the less fortunate and needy people of Bell County, the board president, Cindy Snodgrass, said Tuesday. Okay. I'm looking for it to say, as usual, we don't know why this happened. Man, it seems to be just an act of God. All right, let's continue on here. So fire breaks out at Domino Sugar Refinery in Arabia. Okay, so this seems to have happened in Hammond. Okay, so I'm thinking this is Hammond, Indiana. Let's see here.
I want to bring you another live look right now at the fire happening at the Domino Sugar Refinery in Arabi. There is currently a shelter-in-place order for neighbors there in St. Bernard Parish. This is a more than 100-year-old sugar factory, began in 1909. This is right along the Mississippi River in Arabi in St. Bernard Parish. Several hundred employees, the parish president telling us that they were evacuating.
Okay, so this seems like it's down in Louisiana or something. So let's see here. So a worker said that a sugar silo that holds millions of gallons of the product caught fire. The witness said he believed the fire suppression system stopped the fire from turning into an explosion. Oh, here we go. This is, if you notice, there's a common theme with all of these things. It's unclear what started the fire. The flames started mid-afternoon and smoke billowed from the refinery into the evening hours. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is Louisiana here. It says the refinery flooded during Katrina and reopened 98 days later, which earned it the nickname the Can-Do Refinery. Okay. So again, this was reported August 27th of 2020. So let's go to the next one here. 300,000 chickens killed at Bondi Bonte Poultry Farm fire in Otsego, Michigan. Okay. Otsego. Or however you pronounce that there. So a large fire destroyed a barn Friday at a poultry farm in this Michigan place, about 25 miles north of Kalamazoo, and killed about 300,000 chickens. Multiple fire departments were called to a cage-free poultry farm owned by this Bonte Eggs after a fire started at about 11 a.m. January 3rd, 2020. So again, we're seeing here all that is happening outside of the other, 100 or so things that are also causing inflation and stuff like that as well. But this is a direct, you can say in a way, okay, at least from a certain perspective, a direct attack on the food supply. So let's continue on. I'm waiting for the theme here of we don't know why the fire started. So anyways, this the date on this is or at least it was reported on January 3rd, 2020. Okay, January 3rd, 2020. Let's continue on. Dade City Poultry Farm fire likely killed 250,000 chickens, officials said. So this was reported December 17th of 2020. Okay, December 17th of 2020. So this is Dade City, Florida. Okay, so Dade City, Florida, fire crews in Pasco County said a massive fire likely killed as many as 250,000 chickens at a Dade City chicken farm after flames tore through 3 barns with thousands of chickens inside. All right. You see a picture of the destruction there. Firefighters had to face 2 major obstacles during the overnight hours. Of course, well, the farm is located in a remote area without readily available water source, meaning firefighters had to bring their own water. The nearest hydrant is 3 miles away. Seems to be the perfect setup for some type of catastrophe to take place. But hey, that's just me there. You know, let's see here. So I'm going to go to the next one, but this is December 17th, 2020. Again, most of these, I'm not reading the articles because all these things kind of get into the same rambling on about just different aspects of the safety aspect or how much was destroyed or whatever it may be, right? And so again, the links will be posted. And if you want to read further into these into more detail, you can do that. Merida wakes up to smell of a pork processing plant on fire. So this was reported May 3rd, 2020. Okay, May 3rd, 2020. All right, and so a fire Sunday morning at the Keegan meat processing plant sent smoke for miles. Ashes fell in the central. Let's see here. The city center was choked Sunday morning by smoke and embers from a factory fire miles away. I think this is a South American. Yeah, this is a South American fire that happened at a plant. Yeah. So no wonder the dog was sneezing, said one central resident after learning that the Keegan pork processing plant was on fire. Watery eyes and sore throats were widely reported on social media. The fire is believed to have started in the food area of the factory. Although odors suggest burning plastics, no injuries were reported. Here we go. What's it? Okay, and it's not clear if the plant was operating when the blaze broke out. Okay. The same factory was a scene of angry confrontations earlier this week. Well, that's at least a little bit more, information that they gave on these previous, 15? So, yeah, one moment here. So let's continue on. That's the same one from before. Yeah, it's the same one from before. Yep. So this is a Michigan one as well. Pickle factory fire in Bay County has Mr. Chips shifting some production to Georgia. This was reported October 7th, 2020. All right, so in Pinkerton, Michigan, a weekend fire heavily damaged a pickle manufacturer and major employer in the northern Bay County. An official with the company said Wednesday they are working to keep up with demands of production and planning their next steps. Well, we like to rebuild. We're looking at it right now. We've got to see how devastating it is, said Joseph, president of Bayview Foods and Mr. Chips Incorporated. All right, let's see here. Well, we would like to rebuild. All right, so with approximately 175 employees in the Pinkerton area, about 150 of whom work for Mr. Chips, Bayview Foods is one of the community's largest employers. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if we could find. Let's see here. Okay, so no one was injured as a result of the fire, but can we find the telltale slogan here? Reach out, okay. Okay, the actual blood pretty well wiped out though. Did I miss it? I'm not sure, but I'm going to spend a lot of time looking through it. But so let's continue on here. The next one here, this one is, well, let's go back. So when was that one again here, just to clear up? It's October 7th, 2020. Okay, October 7th. And this next one here is July 24th, 2020. Okay, July 24th, 2020. And so firefighters battle fire at Williamsburg meat packing facility. All right. So a fire at a meat packing plant in Hemingway Friday morning caused heavy damage to the building. Firefighters say the fires were reported at approximately 10 a.m. at the Hemingway meat locker plant on South Main Street. Let's see here. All right, so that's it for that. What is this one here? Okay, this one doesn't bring up anything. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't bring up any. Let me try one more time here. Yeah, it's not bringing up anything. Fire does, it says it consumes another meatpacking plant. It's very strange. It's not bringing up anything. Let's continue on. 34,000. Wow. 34,000 chickens die in farm fires in North Carolina, Virginia. Okay. 34,000 chickens. That's a lot. All right. So a poultry house at Rockingham County Farm burned to the ground on Friday afternoon, killing tens of thousands of chickens inside. This was reported January 27th, 2020. Okay, January 27th of 2020. Investigators think up to 34,000 chickens were killed during two separate poultry farm fires in North Carolina and Virginia within a day of each other. Rockingham County Fire and Rescue officials say a fire in Folks Run, Virginia killed an estimated 24,000 chickens on Friday. Firefighters contained the barn blaze, but the structure was destroyed. Let's see here. The Forbush Volunteer Fire Chief says approximately 10,000 chickens were killed at the poultry house in North Carolina just one day prior. Crews responding to the Yakinville farm on Thursday discovered the fires appear to be unrelated and no workers were injured in either. Okay. But the fires appear to be unrelated, boss. Case closed. All right. So let's, the next one here. Yeah, this is the 2019 one. Let's make sure. Okay. I'll just take that one there. Let's see here. Okay. Further back. Okay, still back further. Okay, so, all right. So nearly 300,000 chickens die in massive fire in New Jersey. Okay, 300,000 chickens. I mean, this is a lot of food. You know what I mean? If you're noticing, I notice it's kind of drawn out here as we're going along, but we have to bring this point all the way down, so we all are on the same page with this. Okay, so another 300,000 chickens. I mean, it's a lot of food that's you could say going to waste or dying or whatever it may be. All right, and it seems to be very eerie because it seems to relate to a very specific agenda that we're going to hint to here in a moment. All right, come over here. So. All right, so this is July 21st of 2020. Okay, July 21st of 2020. All right, so let's see here if I could play it here. It's not playing. Let me try it again here. Okay, well, it's not playing. So flames ripped through a farm in South Jersey overnight, killing nearly 300,000 chickens. CBS Philadelphia reports the blaze broke out around 8:30 p.m. Monday at the Red Bird Egg Farm in Powell's Grove, Salem County. All right, crews battled the 4-alarm fire all night and remained on scene Tuesday morning, putting out hot spots. No humans were injured, but the officials said nearly 300,000 chickens have died. About 200,000 of the birds died in the fire, while another 80,000 died in the neighboring building that lost power, which stopped the fans from blowing. With the hot weather and heat from the fire, the chickens did not survive. The Maynington Fire Department chief said the major issue was getting water to the scene. Water? Because there are no fire hydrants out here. So we had to have all water tanked in by trucks. And this thing was hot. I tell you, it was hot. Maynington Fire Department Chief Lee Butcher said. It started out that one building, started at that one building, and we thought we was making headway, okay? But it was so hot, the metal was just melting and just went right over to the next one because of the heat. And they are aluminum buildings. All right. Butcher said the fire started in one building and eventually jumped to the second. Crews originally thought they were responding to a house fire. Very unusual. Very unusual. We were surprised when we got here because it came in as a building fire, but we had no idea that it was a chicken farm, he said. At least one building was burned to the ground. The fire chief said he's been at the post for 60 years and says this is the biggest fire he's ever had to fight. State police are leading the investigation to what started the fire. But as we've seen in all the previous examples, more than likely they may not find out. Case closed. So let's continue on here. Well, let's go back. Let's see the date on that again. It's a clarification again. That's July 21st, 2020. The next one here. Fire damages New Bedford food warehouse. Okay. This is March 24th of 2020. Okay. March 24th of 2020. All right. So a 3-alarm fire in New Bedford damaged a food distribution warehouse along with several tractor trailer units parked outside of it earlier on Tuesday. The fire broke out at Sid Weiner and Company warehouse and distribution company at 2301. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This factory is a family-owned specialty foods business, according to the company's website. Kruger and the fire likely started in the loading dock of the building. It was a wind-driven fire since it was really windy here last night. Really steep winds were coming out of the northwest, Kruger said. Some of the tractor trailers were parked pretty close together and had already burned down when we got there. It only took us 4 minutes to get there. Firefighters were able to contain the fire to the loading dock, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. I'm going to see our signature thing here. Let's see. Okay, the cause of the fire remains under investigation. All right, so let's continue on to the next one here. Again, this was March 24th, 2020. Okay, the next one here, which I think is the last one before it gets to yeah, okay. So fire destroys a lobster, NS lobster pound. Police say person, okay, how 5 injuries, okay. So let's see.
And now you won't let go.
police say is a person of interest is in a hospital with life-threatening injuries after a large fire destroyed a commercial building reported to be a lobster pound used by fishers. Okay. All right. The devastating fire at the lobster pound in Middle West Pocono further illustrates the need for greater police presence in the region, wrote Sack in the email. So I believe this is Canada. Okay, so I believe this is a Canadian one here. Yeah. All right, so we get the point there. This one was October, it was reported on October 17th of 2020. Okay, October 17th, 2020. All right, so now let's move on. We're toward the end of this whole aspect here. All right, so what happened was that after this, right? So a few days ago, when I was just doing some rudimentary just research into some of this stuff, right? And when I researched this days ago, these results did not come up. Okay, so like you see here, I put in quotations, fires, food processing plants, right? And what came up before, because I did it by date, okay, and I picked custom range, and for example, let's say here 2019 to let's see here, no, I don't want to do it. It was January 1st, 2019. So January 1st, 2019 to 12/31st here, 2019. All right. And so to gauge how normal is this? Now, I already know what's going on, right? This is not for me. This is for you all. Okay. So I wanted you all to physically see this stuff, right? Like how normal is it? Because, you know, there are people who really need certain things really spelled out. And so even though I'm not going to purposely spell it out to that degree, just because I want you to do your own research to a certain extent, but still I want to at least give you some flavor on that plate so you know what to go after. Okay. So with that, the long story short is this, okay, that in 2019, it was maybe 2 to 3 that I came across that were major food processing fires. Okay. 2018, very similar. It was only a few of them. Okay. 2017, again, only a few of them. So, you know, mistakes happen, things happen, right? But it wasn't anything like what we just went over, right? We just went over like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We went over 20, okay? 20 major food processors pretty much being destroyed that produce majority, they each contribute to a large fraction of the food that we have here, right? Even though there's many others as well, still that was a lot of them, right? And this is not just happening in the United States, this is happening all across the world. See, that's the thing about it as well. So even if potentially this does not bring up any red flags for many of you all, if that's the case, it happening just here, and let's say if it's just here only, this, what I just named, is happening all across the globe. Okay. It's very interesting because there is, for example, and some of you could do the research here. I want you, when you get some time, to type in Agenda 2030 PDF. Okay. And so Agenda 2030, its main focus is sustainable development. Okay. Which means that, again, this whole climate change, which many of you have heard of, climate change, everybody eating Soylent Green or plant chemical burgers, okay, all that type of stuff. This is all part of the World Economic Forum Agenda 2030. Their dictates, okay, their edicts to the world, okay. And so it's what a coincidence. I mean, it's just a coincidence now, right? Just a coincidence that what's happening with the food production worldwide is going hand in hand with the edicts of the World Economic Forum, which is, partner with the United Nations, and the edict that they put out, which is Agenda 2030, is also Agenda 2050. It's also Agenda, of course, Agenda 21, and so on and so forth, right? So if you all get some time, especially those of you who are very studious, and if you have not read it, you should read it, okay? So let's see here. This is not it here. But they get into different aspects of things too, like, as you see here, family planning, right? They get into many aspects that it's a lot of double, as they say in the book 1984. Let me also put that up. If you have not read that book, or if you know about the movie, is really dystopian, but the you should really read the book, okay? The book is not a long book, okay? Well, it says 328 pages. So it is actually longer than one of the versions I have, okay? So anyways, 1984 is a very interesting book. It's by George Orwell. If you have not read it, you should take some time to read it. You could find it for a couple bucks on eBay, a couple bucks on Amazon, stuff like that, okay? But Agenda 2030 PDF, let's see, you want the main one, okay? And it's quite interesting how, because it used to be the first link here. I'm gonna put in, let's do start page instead here. So okay, because the one that I'm looking for is, okay, is this here? But this is one, it's 41 pages. It was longer than this. But anyways, you could just put in PDF, read the different ones there. These are different snippets from the main one, okay? Because the main one was much longer than this, but you can read in different aspects what they're going to do. For example, finance, right? Technology, okay? Trade, and so on and so forth. It also deals with carbon emissions, right? We've heard of carbon emissions. We need to reduce the carbon emissions, and the main, I'm not gonna get into that, but we need to reduce carbon emissions and stuff like that, right? So this would give many of you some insight into partially what's taking place around us. The thing about it is they love to put things in these types of very boring formats because the majority of people are not going to read it. You know what I'm saying? Period. So, and that's just that. So, for example, a lot of these edicts came out decades ago. So, for example, if one did take the time to read it back in the early 90s, right? The early 90s, we're talking about we're pretty much 22, like let's say early 90s, we're talking about 30 plus years later now from when some of these documents were put out, okay? Think about the different strategies that could have been formatted for yourself or for your family and so on and so forth, friends, community, if one actually took the time to read these different things and made the adjustments within their life. So what else here? Let's see here. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to go over now. All right. Okay. Yeah, that seems like it, everyone. Okay. And there were a whole lot of also the same pattern that we have seen in 2020. There's even more, or there have been many that have happened as well in 2022. And it's quite interesting, right? Let's say if you try to do just a simple Google search, right? So let's say you just try to say, let's say you go here and just type in, let's go to Google and type in, like, as I did before, right? Fires. Let's see something here. So fires, food processing plants. Okay. If you see here the results, I mean, it's quite interesting that the mechanisms, the media, right? they're taking on what the alternative media is talking about, right? And saying, no, that's not true at all. It's not true whatsoever, right? Because you see here, no fires at food processing plants have not been set intentionally. Okay. So no, fires at food processing plants have not been set intentionally. The right's new conspiracy theory, kamikaze planes and food fires. Okay. Let's see something here. Let's go back up. Rumor of food processing plant fires trend spreads. Okay. No. Okay, there's another one there. Okay, this is like a more alternative one here. We didn't start the fire. Okay, this is another thing here. So nevertheless, they've come out big time to say these things, right? You also going to find one by Snoops, right? Snoops is the fact checking, house, right? So you see here, for example, are fires at food processing plants a new trend? The real trend here is the uptick of fear mongering over food supply shortages. That's the real uptick, okay? And so they have here on their site stamped it with misleading, case closed. All right, so an abnormal claim, an abnormal number of fires have occurred at food processing plants in 2022. Now, why are they using 2022? Why not use 2020 or even 2021, right? Because we in 2022 now, I didn't even get into 2021 at all, and we see all the ones that happen in 2020 alone. And factually, actually, 2019, 2018, 2017, it was not as many as that. That's a fact, but they're going to use 2022, okay? Again, that's called like a trying to create a false narrative where one, again, these are psychological techniques, okay? And these are also, these are not only done through writing, okay? But this, if a person's astute enough, they can do this in literal conversation as well. You see politicians do this a lot. And other entities here that is trying to cause problems, even in the neighborhood or whatever, regular people that is causing kind of that is trying to cause problems, they would subconsciously do these types of attacks where instead of dealing with the facts or not even just the facts, just dealing with the subject matter at hand. We're talking about fish. Okay, we're talking about fish. Okay, why are you bringing it to talking about, something someone did 2 years ago type of thing? So kind of changing the subject. And then what happens is that they tend to, they call this this is what I call it a forum slant, FORUMSLANT, okay, forum slant. And what happens is that they would bring some asinine subject that does not deal with the subject at hand that should be talked about. And they make it so ridiculous that you have to respond to it. And now that you respond to it, now you've derailed the conversation. Now the conversation is about whatever that ridiculous thing is, okay? So these tactics are people actually train in these tactics, okay, to cause, sometimes we call them trolls in a way, right? Some of you have heard that term, trolls. Trolls may not be professionals at it, but people do professionally train in these tactics, okay? So let's see here. So here it gets into the claim. So the claim of a new trend of fires at food processing facilities does not hold up upon scrutiny. Almost all the fires on MIMI lists involved explainable causes. It doesn't mean that it's not explainable. See, that's the thing again. That's another false thing. No one said it's not explainable. Okay, they say this is being done on purpose. So you see that again, that's the false argument there that's being created. So now that they created a false premise, okay, first off, they started off only in 2022. Yes, if you do 2022 just started, right? We're not even halfway through it yet. So if you compare 2022 to other years, even if 2022 only has 1 and other years have 4, all right, 2022 is not over yet. But even that's the case, you could say, what are you talking about? It's not the same. Which is somehow it's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not an abnormal amount of fires, which is true to an extent, because it's only been, let's say, I'm just saying a number here. It's only been 1 fire so far this year, whereas, but we haven't even finished the year yet, right? Where in other years it's only been, 3 or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's creating this false reality. And if one is not proficient in truly examining how to break down the false reality like that, okay? And it even gets the best of us, right? You would be taking on a ride, and it happens so easily. And you're taking on, and these it builds in your own mind a narrative within your own mind, okay? It plants seeds, and then you begin to believe those seeds, or have more give more credence to that seed that's been implanted, versus coming up with your own potential vision of what you're actually reading, okay? So they did that there, okay, which is not, you know, people are not claiming specifically this, okay, but they're saying you're claiming that, right? And then they try to explain the claim, but then change it again to even something else, right? So the long story short, they go into what they go into, and they pretty much, as you see here, put misleading, okay? And this is the official fact checking. A lot of the fact checking that you see on Facebook and other websites, it started with Snoops, okay? They're one of the ones who actually initiated that type of stuff. So anyhow, so that's it for now. Concerning this, I think it was important for you all to see these things directly. So when it comes to actually growing food, many of you know on the YouTube channel, I'm going to pull it up now. And all these links, even the Snoops link, I'm going to put after the fact. So when YouTube, when this video does go up, I'm going to put those links all there as well. So you will have it. Okay. So if you go to the Meta Center YouTube channel, all right, you will see again, if you have not seen it, check out the new, the alien. Wait, what is this on the screen here? I thought that was from a, oh, I know that's from somebody wrote from the thing. Like, where did that come from? So whoever wrote that, don't write anything more on the screen. All right, appreciate it. So so that, if you all see that yellow line there, okay, somebody actually wrote that. That's in the chat. That's a little funny, at least. So anyhow, all right. So if you haven't seen the latest podcast, which is the Alien New World Order Illuminati Agenda, I think you would enjoy it. You should check that one out, right? But this is why, if you go to the YouTube channel, you're going to see 2 hydroponic growing videos. One is part 1 here. The other one's part 2 here. I'm showing you step by step how to grow. If you want to grow hydroponically allows food to be grown really fast. Okay. So if you're into that, you can check that out. But it's also, you just learn some tips and things about growing food in general in that. Okay. And that's on the YouTube channel now. What else? So even if you have a balcony, you could do balcony gardening and stuff like that. So in short, it's not that you're going to produce tons of food necessarily to totally take over your entire meal, but it's going to give you the experience of growing food. Okay, that's mainly why I'm really suggesting you all to do it, because it's going to give you the certain skills to just utilize. Okay, so but if you got some land, most definitely growing that and everything else. I'm actually helping a few people grow quite a bit of food even now, and that's just that. So yeah, so besides that, that's it for the main, let's say, presentation tonight.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself. herself.